Hi y'all, how you doing? I know it's been a minute since I dropped a BigMa Life-ing because life has been life-ing. I know I say this all the time, but it has been life-ing. But I'm back and I'm about to have one of my vulnerable moments with y'all. And I'm going to start off today's show with a quote that is literally my quote for now. And it says, to have peace, you have to be ready for war. And my darling, it's been war. You're welcome to Big My Life-ing.
Big My Life-ing, don't play sad, what? Big My Life-ing, don't play sad, what?
Welcome, 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 y'all. Yes, it is Big My Life-ing. It's been a minute. I do not apologize for taking a break. Sometimes we need that break to figure shit out. And I think I've been going through some things that I probably avoided for a very long time. Um, but I can't put it off anymore. Now, the quote I started the video with, if you want peace, you have to prepare for war. I remember when I saw it like a month ago, it resonated so hard because I realized that to get to the point of my life where I have peace of mind in my decisions, in who I am, in what I am doing, in where I know my life is going, my purpose, you know, who I'm becoming basically, I've had to fight. I have had to go to war with a lot of people, some friends, some business associates, some, new acquaintances, but most important, family. And um, on the journey of self love, when you first start, you think it's the fun part, taking care of yourself, looking good, going out on solo dates, exercising, doing all the fun things you always wanted to do. Those things are great. Those things are awesome. I would advise you to do those things, you know. But when you decide to really start doing the inner work and you start realizing where you let your boundaries be non-existent and the people you have to set boundaries with. And here's the crazy thing about boundaries. Boundaries are for your protection, for your good. When you set a boundary, it's not about the person adhering to them. I mean, in a perfect world, they should adhere to your boundaries because it's just respectful. But you set them for you because it is what you do when that boundary is crossed that matters. It's like when you set a boundary and say, if you touch me here, I would slap you. And that person touches you and you don't slap the person. What you're teaching that person is that I can touch you however I want and you're not going to do anything. That's just an example for you to understand how boundaries work. That's what boundary setting is about. It's about the consequences of when those boundaries are being crossed. It's like when you tell someone, if you talk to me anyhow, I'm going to block you. And the person moves to you mad. Block them. And that's something I had to learn. It was easier for me to do with people that were not family, friends, co-workers, acquaintances, what have you, even toasters, whatever. It was so easy. But when it now came down to the nitty-gritty of the healing, when I started to realize that most of the hurt comes from within. There's this Yoruba saying that kokoro don't jefo, ara follower, meaning the insect, the bug that is eating the vegetable, lives in the vegetable. And if you want that insect to stop, eating the vegetable, what you have to do, you gotta get rid of the insect. And that's what happens. Most of us, our first abusers were not strangers, were not people outside. They were family. They were loved ones. They were people we trusted with our lives. But a lot of people, when we get to that stage of healing where you have to stand on your 10 toes about your business and it's about facing family, you fight it because you start, that saying of blood is thicker than water. I believe that saying was made so that people suffer in certain family dynamics and they keep sacrificing themselves, their happiness, their peace of mind to keep the peace in the family. I've never understood keeping the peace because Why is it that I don't have inner peace, but me allowing you to abuse me, talk to me crazy, move to me mad, is keeping the peace? Whose peace exactly is being kept? You know, these are questions I ask myself on a regular when something disturbs my peace. I have to ask myself, why am I exactly, keeping the peace here when my peace is being disturbed? Especially when it was, peace that was minding its business, just chilling on its own, and then you now decided to come and disturb it. Uh-uh. Uh-uh. So yeah, these are some things I have been dealing with, More like, I don't know if it's been up to a year, but it's been since late last year. I stopped lying to myself about things I needed to start dealing with. And the more I started accepting things for what they were, the more I started to see more into things that rose colored glass that you put on when you look at people who you know are not exactly how you are telling yourself they are, just because they're your loved ones. And you cannot bring yourself to realize that your loved ones are the ones actually hurting you. I did that for a very long time, because I couldn't just bring myself to believe that someone I loved and is meant to love me actually doesn't even like me, you know? And then you start looking at all the dynamics of friendships, relationships, and how you've gravitated towards people you had to work hard to kind of earn their love, their like, and they still don't give it to you. No matter how much you love them, no matter how much people please for them, you're just never good enough. And I don't know why it had to take me 40 years to realize this. But one good thing about it is the more I realize it, the more I allow myself to accept it. I've already mourned the loss of people that are still alive. You know how crazy that is? Yeah. But it's much needed because I lived 40 years for other people. It's time for me to start living the rest of my life for me. I'm going to be 41 in a month. And for the first time in forever, thanks to me starting BigMa Life-ing, where I just talk about my life, I've gotten the courage to speak more on shit I've been through that I never shared with people. And people just have this weird ass notion about who I am. They think I'm stereotypical when they meet me, but then they start to peel behind the layers and they're like, she's different, something different about this one. And I don't care for people's approval. I never really have, actually. I realized that the only people I ever cared for their validation were my loved ones, and that was because they never could validate me. And somehow I thought I needed their validation to be me. Something happened recently that let me realize that the only person's validation that matters is mine entirely. I've never cared about outsiders, what they think about. Honestly, I have never cared. But I used to care what my family members thought about me. But when I started going slowly, no contact, first with my siblings, and then realizing a dynamic with one of my parents, and I'm like, you know what? I don't give a fuck anymore. And it wasn't from a place of anger or hurt. It was just from a place of being done. I don't know if you've ever felt like that. Like, you're just done. You do not care how this person sees you anymore because you've done everything you can, possibly humanly can. And they still choose to see you as someone you're not. So what are you going to do? You're going to fucking take yourself and be the best you can ever be. And that's where I'm at. I'm ready to reveal aspects of my life that only maybe a handful of people have ever heard of. Most of it, nobody has heard of. Because I keep a lot of things inside and I don't want to do that anymore. I have seen what that has done to someone I love so much who keeps everything in and takes it all, and how it affects this person's health. And I'm like, yeah, no, I ain't doing that shit. I ain't doing that shit. Oh, they'll tell you do not talk about stuff because, protect the family. Fuck that shit. Where was the family when it was time to protect me? You know, where were they? So, on that note, I will be dropping a three-part memoir. Yes. I'm dropping the first one on my birthday next month, July 8th. Save the date. hmm the first part of this three-part series, the book is called Not All Men. And the first part is Not All Men Are Sexual Predators. I'll put the cover on the screen so you can see what the book looks like. It's going to be an ebook for the first part because I want you people to be able to read it, absorb it, and understand that this is not a book to point fingers or shame men or anything, but it's literally my lived experiences since I was a kid, things I've gone through, and I love writing. It's always been my thing. When I was really young and I couldn't fully express myself with words because I was a stammerer. That's something a lot of people don't know. I used to stammer and I used to literally like stumble over my words. So I w- I was more. I mean, I wouldn't say I was like leaning more into mute autism. I mean, now that as an adult, I know I'm neurospicy and I have autism and ADHD. But I remember a lot growing up where I couldn't express myself through words. I didn't know how to place them. So I'd usually write letters. Like if I do something to offend my mom or someone, I would write a letter explaining why I did what I did, how I felt, and how sorry I am that I reacted the way I did, basically. And I found out growing up that I express myself better when I write. I had to train myself to be able to speak and face people, because I'm one of those people that there's a challenge, I got to, surpass it, whatever way I can. And being able to face people and talk, not just to the camera, I'm talking in person because I also MC, I talk in large crowds, and I don't like get, what's the word, stuck, basically. I literally had to force myself to do that by reading in front of people. I did that a lot in secondary school, but I didn't do that as an adult. I just go off the cuff and I speak a lot until recently at a creative gathering where I decided to test out the first 6 pages of this book. And I was reading in front of people for the first time since I was a kid. And I realized that I've even grown, like, even as an adult, in how I communicate now, even with my words and having to put the right inflections and what have you. It's been a growing growth experience for me. And now I get to share my side of the story, shit that I've been through, because there are people who just assume, especially when it comes to intimate relationships, they assume a lot of shit about me and don't understand that I stay away. I keep to myself for so many reasons. It's not from fear, it's from protection. And mostly not me protecting me. Oh no, I'm protecting you. Because my ancestors, my spirit guides, they don't play about me. And if you move to me with insincere intentions, I cannot, you know, beg on your behalf, whatever happens to you. Kama is my babe. She's that bitch. And she knows I don't be looking for nobody's trouble. So she's always ready to ride when you look for mine. So I stay away from people for their protection, not the other way around. I'm not worried about anyone. People have tried so much on me. It's like, if you know the life I lived and I've survived up till now, you realize that your insult or your whatever it is you're doing is nothing. Around this time last year, I believe I died. And I say this without joking. I did. But a lot of people didn't know that. I never talked about it. But that was what kick started I want to get the word right. Kickstarted me resharing about my spiritual journey and putting my neck, pressing the devil's neck like a motherfucker. Like, oh, you thought you had me fool? Nah, babes. You just made me stronger. Thank you. So yeah, I'm back to sharing. I'm going to make this as often as I can because it's beyond just sharing about myself. Um, uh, I want to share my experiences from a place of if you're going through this, trust me, you're gonna be fine. It's not from a place of oh pity me. Nah, save that pity for I don't know Peter and Paul or something. I know that's a dry joke. Just take it. I'm just saying that I am sharing because I want other people to know that you're seen, you're loved, and you can heal. I used to say, a long time ago that I could never change. It used to be my thing. I run into people I've not seen in a long time and they're like, oh, Big Man, you've never changed. But I remember always feeling weird at the back of my mind. Like, why does that word make me feel bad? Like, but now I'm like, I get it. It's because I was meant to change. I was not meant to remain the same. So if you are wondering if change is something that is for you, I'm here to tell you, yeah. As long as you're willing to do the work, as long as you're willing to put yourself first, as long as you're willing to heal, to take accountability of the part you played in your misfortune, yeah. And it's going to lead you to a side of you that just fills you with joy every day. Now, keep in mind, it's not like everything's going to be perfect, hunky dory, every day. No, no, no. There are going to be a lot of ups and downs. There are going to be a lot of tests. The universe is going to want to be sure that you've learned your lesson, basically. But once you have the tools to get through, the hurdles, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So, I guess I just wanted to share that. My book, Not All Men, Part 1, Not All Men Are Sexual Predators, drops July 8th. And the next time I post, I'll put up a pre-order link so you can get it. It's going to be on seller.com. When I'm ready to put the pre-order link, I'll let you know in the next video. For now, if you just want to keep up with me, you can follow me on all major platforms at BigMa Life-ing, and also my music page here on YouTube, BigMa Life-ing. I think I'll tag it in the description. And yeah, I think I said I dropped an album. The only reason I'm not promoting it as such is I dropped that for younger me. Those were old songs that I mostly do not resonate much with anymore now. I do have some things in the works, but I'm not in a hurry to put out anything new because I'm closing out a distribution contract that no longer favors me. And yeah, there's a lot I have in store, and this book might be something of a controversy, but it's also meant to be healing, you know. And I know that a lot of women, if not all women, would feel seen in the pages of the book. This was great, and I know you might not be able to tell. I am actually under the weather. I have a flu. I got beat by rain a couple of days ago. But when my spirit guides tell me to record, I record. I don't really own me anymore right now, and I'm cool with that. But I still look cute, so flu or no flu, we eating. Anyways, do not forget to keep being kind to yourself. Keep loving you. Keep glowing. Keep growing. And keep flowing. I love you, but God loves you more.
Big my life, I'm a hear something. Big my life, bring Chelsea down. Today now hot, this no darling around.